Buckle up, guys, because you're about to witness some of the wildest police dashcam moments ever caught on tape. These clips are so outrageous, they'll leave you questioning if they're even real. But here's the catch, they're 100% real. Get ready for an adrenaline-packed journey into the unpredictable world of law enforcement, where every second counts and reality is stranger than fiction. Let's dive in. On March 26, 2017, Edmond police were alerted to an attempted Walmart heist. The suspects, attempting a getaway, drew attention with their speeding vehicle. Officers quickly spotted the car matching the description and initiated a traffic stop. What followed was anything but routine. The suspects refused to yield, engaging in a reckless pursuit. As the chase unfolded, the suspects gained distance, likely believing they had escaped. However, the determined officer caught up moments later, leading to panic in the car. Surrounded and outnumbered, the suspects had no choice but to surrender. The bizarre ending saw one of the suspects peeking out of the car, only to duck back inside in what could only be described as a comical display of hesitation. Officers discovered 4 individuals in the vehicle. After clarifying that 2 were not involved in the crime, police arrested the actual perpetrators, Lamont Benjamin, 25, and Sean Bruner, 27. Their botched heist and chaotic escape ensured that their day ended not with stolen goods, but in handcuffs. On the night of November 23, 2019, Georgia's State Route 400 transformed from a peaceful stretch of highway into the scene of a wild pursuit. A Mercedes-Benz was spotted zooming down the highway at a staggering 125 miles per hour. Responding to an urgent call, a state trooper quickly positioned himself in the median, scanning for the roaring vehicle. Moments later, the car raced past like a bullet, leaving the trooper no choice but to give chase. The driver showed no regard for safety, recklessly blowing through intersections and red lights in the bustling city streets. However, the officers played it smart, avoiding unnecessary risks to safeguard others.
Fast view for anything you can try to get on, yeah, get northbound, be advised.
The chase moved back to the highway, an ideal terrain for a pit maneuver.
Sorry, you said you did go 85 north? 85 northbound. I need the air, please. Pit maneuver, pit. Northbound, he's getting back in it. He's trying to get back in it. Coming up to North Druid Hills. Coming in for another pit. I got a beep on the way. Police 786 trying to set up for another pit. We're taking the exit for North Druid Hills. Exit, we're southbound North Druid Hills. 786, take him. I believe he's setting up for a pit. $10.50, we're trying to block him in right now. We're gonna up on the curve. Going to go.
After multiple attempts, the officers successfully executed one, forcing the suspect's car to spin out of control. Emerging from the wreckage, 36-year-old Omid Sheikh Sajadi, bearing a few cuts, was apprehended. He reeked of alcohol, slurring his speech with watery eyes and dilated pupils, clear signs of intoxication. This was not Omid's first run-in with the law. Previously arrested in 2013 for fraud, his night of reckless joyriding now added DUI, reckless driving, and fleeing charges to his record. March 6, 2021 started like any other day for a Georgia State Police officer stationed at the corner of Andrew Young and Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta. The evening was calm, the typical rhythm of downtown taking its course until the sudden sound of screeching tires shattered the peace. Enter a black and red Dodge Charger speeding down the street, tires burning rubber as it swerved between lanes. Now, here's the thing about speeding in a dense metro area like Atlanta. Traffic and stoplights are your worst enemies. But that didn't faze the driver, Jimmy Turner. Instead of pulling over when the officer activated his siren, Turner turned downtown Atlanta into his own personal racetrack, putting everyone on the road at risk. As the chase unfolded, Turner's reckless driving escalated. He darted through traffic, slamming into civilian cars and narrowly missing pedestrians. The chaos peaked when he came within inches of mowing down 3 innocent people before crashing into a nearby alleyway. According to Turner, he panicked when he saw the flashing lights behind him, but being scared doesn't quite justify the carnage he left in his wake. While the exact charges against Turner were unclear, you can bet they included fleeing, reckless driving, and endangering the lives of countless people. Miraculously, the civilians he hit walked away with only minor injuries. But Jimmy wasn't so lucky. His wild ride ended with a one-way trip to the hospital and later to jail. On January 8, 2022, a routine patrol turned into a high-stakes manhunt for Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Wesley Dixon. A black sedan was spotted failing to move over for emergency vehicles. While seemingly minor, a quick check of the car's plates linked it to a homicide investigation in Orlando. The driver, identified as Stephen Spencer Clary, was already on a nationwide BOLO list. Trooper Dixon trailed the vehicle discreetly, ensuring backup was ready before making his move. When the pursuit began, Stephen attempted to escape but found himself overwhelmed by a dozen officers converging on his location. The dramatic chase ended with Stephen's arrest. Although charged with fleeing and eluding law enforcement, the homicide investigation against him remains ongoing. His brazen attempt to evade capture now adds serious criminal charges to his already troubling record. June 9th, 2024 was far from ordinary for Arkansas State Trooper Robert Rome. While patrolling near a gas station, he spotted a biker acting suspiciously. When the trooper turned his vehicle around, the biker bolted, triggering a high-speed chase. Weaving through residential streets, the motorcycle reached staggering speeds of up to 130 miles per hour, making a pit maneuver too dangerous. The suspect showed signs of desperation, swerving off-road and nearly losing control after the trooper's vehicle made contact. Despite the chaos, officers maintained pursuit, carefully navigating intersections to protect the public.
Through a red light.
Ultimately, the chase concluded in dramatic fashion when the suspect took an off-road tumble. His reason for fleeing: a small stash of marijuana. Ironically, officers stated he might have only faced a misdemeanor if he had cooperated. Instead, his reckless escape now subjects him to multiple felony charges. In France, police officers are well versed in handling fast-paced situations, as seen in a chase involving a T-Max motorcycle. A biker in a neon green vest, a questionable choice for stealth, attempted to evade capture on a narrow highway. The officer pursued with unmatched precision, expertly navigating tight spaces to stay on the suspect's tail. The suspect, however, underestimated his pursuer's skill. Cutting sharply into the left lane and nearly colliding with the officer's bike, he failed to make his escape. The chase ended abruptly when the officer cornered the biker, quickly apprehending him and securing the scene. It was a reminder of the skill and discipline French law enforcement brings to the table. Trooper Jacob Bird was no rookie when it comes to high-speed chases, had already seen his fair share of intense moments since joining the force in 2020. But nothing could have prepared him for what went down on May 22, 2024. It started like any other day in southwestern Little Rock when Trooper Bird spotted a suspicious white Charger cruising through the area. His instincts kicked in, and he followed the car, eventually running its plates' expired tags. That was all he needed. He pulled the car over, but the driver had other plans. The moment he hit the brakes, the suspect took off, initiating a chase that had them barreling down the wrong side of the highway, heading straight into oncoming traffic. Despite the suspect's desperate attempts to outrun Bird, the trooper remained calm, executing precise maneuvers. The chase reached a fever pitch as the suspect dodged multiple roadblocks and evaded attempts to box him in. Eventually, Bird and his fellow officers cornered the suspect. The driver was arrested for felony fleeing, driving without a license, and, of course, expired tags. But there was a twist. A Taurus 9mm pistol was discovered inside the car, adding an extra charge for illegal possession. It was clear that the suspect wasn't just trying to outrun the law, he was trying to outrun the consequences of a whole lot more. On a late evening in Georgia, a suspect was about to learn the hard way that running from the law, especially on a high-speed motorcycle at night, is a dangerous gamble. This particular biker thought he could outmaneuver the Georgia State Patrol long enough to cross the state border into Tennessee. What he didn't anticipate was that Troopers Hobbs, Weaver, and Shackelford had no intention of letting him slip away.
About 1050, we're still northbound. Copy, about 1050, still northbound. Marshall 1028 was Perry. 6. Tuesday, all units 10-3, 1033, 556, 1080. Copy, northbound, left lane. Copy, leaving all over the roadway. 6. Switch 130, traffic light, dispatch number 326. Tuesday, all units be advised, we got Whitfield County on the line. They have been advised, they be advised, they will not.
The chase started with the suspect speeding down the road, weaving through traffic, and leading the officers on a frantic pursuit. At over 130 miles per hour, the biker had the upper hand, darting effortlessly through the crowded roadway while the GSP troopers struggled to keep up. But the situation would soon take a turn. When Trooper Weaver's vehicle lost power, Trooper Shackelford took over as the lead. As the chase continued, Shackelford pulled up alongside the suspect, hoping to nudge him toward the shoulder to box him in, but the move didn't go as planned. However, Shackelford noticed something crucial. The rider was struggling to maintain control of his motorcycle at such high speeds. The pressure was on, and Shackelford knew that if he kept it up, the biker would eventually make a mistake. As they approached a sharp turn, Corporal Hobbs, riding alongside, saw the same issue. The suspect may have looked composed, but his control was slipping. And then it happened. In that moment, the biker lost control of his bike, crashing and bringing the chase to an end. The officers quickly secured the suspect and slapped on the cuffs, but that's when the biker began complaining about back pain, prompting a visit from medical personnel. I would say running from the police on a motorcycle, especially at night, is never a good idea. On August 10, 2024, Arkansas State Trooper Blaine Middlecoff found himself facing a chase like no other. Around 6:30 p.m., he received an active bolo, or to be on the lookout for a stolen Dodge Charger from Memphis. It wasn't long before Trooper Middlecoff spotted a car that matched the description. As he closed in, he quickly realized the suspect had swapped the vehicle's VIN but had forgotten to change the plates, a rookie mistake. With that, the chase was on. The stolen Charger, a Hellcat model, was no slouch on the road. As it screamed down Arkansas's long, straight highways, the suspect pushed it to over 160 miles per hour, weaving through stop signs and narrowly missing oncoming traffic. Trooper Middlecoff, however, had to remain cautious. Public safety was his priority, and he didn't want to risk creating even more chaos. But just when it seemed like the suspect might be out of sight for good. Middlecoff spotted the Charger again, but not in the way anyone expected. The suspect had crashed the car, and as firefighters worked to tend to the wreckage, Middlecoff found a man, later identified as DeAndre James, leaning against a house nearby. DeAndre claimed he was just an innocent bystander who had been hit by the speeding Hellcat driver. But Trooper Middlecoff wasn't buying it. After a quick investigation, DeAndre was arrested for his role in the chase and the stolen vehicle. The Charger, however, was in no condition to be returned to its owner. In June 2021, law enforcement in Thailand found themselves on a special mission to stop a local street gang of teenagers riding motorcycles. The Royal Thai Police, known for their rigorous training and discipline, were prepared for action. As the gang hit at an intersection, a few bike cops managed to intercept them. While not all the troublemakers were caught, the officers were determined to make a few arrests. In one intense moment, a Royal Thai officer, baton in hand, set his sights on a younger biker who tried to make a run for it. The chase was brief but intense, with the officer signaling for the teen to stop. Unfortunately, the footage cuts off before we see the full roundup, but word has it that the teen's death-defying sprint came to an emotional stop. In the end, it's rumored that he was seen crying, likely realizing the consequences of his actions. As for the other bikers, it's unclear how many were arrested, but one thing was certain: this was a lesson learned the hard way. On April 14, 2023, State Trooper Tyler Langley was on the lookout near Route 64 in Conway, Arkansas. His eyes were peeled for a suspect riding a high-performance sports bike. When he finally spotted him, the suspect tried to merge back onto the highway. But as soon as he saw Trooper Langley, he spun around and gunned it down I-40 East, nearly leaving the officer in his wake. With traffic on his side, the biker had the upper hand, darting effortlessly between cars. Trooper Langley, stuck behind the cars, had to wait for the right moment to move. The chase continued for several minutes, with the biker maintaining his lead until traffic started to slow him down. With fewer options ahead, the suspect eventually vanished into the side streets. Trooper Langley had no choice but to call off the chase, though it's still unclear whether the speedy rider was apprehended later. The case remains a mystery. On August 8, 2017, a police officer found himself locked in a high-speed pursuit with a sports bike that wasn't exactly following the rules. The chase began near the small town of Gin, a historic gem nestled in the Herrick Cave region of the Czech Republic. Despite its modest population of just 16,000, Gin would be thrust into the spotlight that day, though the reasons for the pursuit remain unclear. The officer, however, wasn't about to let this biker slip away. As the chase roared to life, the pursuit took a twist through the winding roads of the scenic countryside. The biker sped down hilly two-lane roads, taking dangerous risks that brought him perilously close to a local cyclist enjoying a casual ride. The officer, navigating the unpredictable terrain, had to skillfully avoid oncoming traffic while keeping his eyes locked on the suspect. For a moment, it looked as though the officer might lose the biker for good, but a break came when the suspect slowed down and veered onto a residential road. The officer closed the gap, watching closely as the suspect took a sharp left at a fork, only to find himself facing an unexpected dead end. The officer, with his gun drawn, quickly jumped out of the vehicle, signaling the biker's surrender. Knowing he had no way out, the biker switched off his engine and gave up. While the charges weren't revealed, it's safe to say that the cost of this high-speed ride through the countryside would be steep. From evading law enforcement to the possible endangerment of innocent bystanders, this ride came with consequences. You guys just saw how quickly things can escalate when you decide to run from the law. Whether it's a winding road in the Czech countryside or a high-speed night ride through Georgia, the end result is the same. No one outruns justice. What do you guys think about these high-speed pursuits? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more gripping stories like this one.